G'day, Dave James here from Marintec. Today we're going to be taking a look at an underwater camera system from a company called Effective Fishing Solutions out of America. You know, the number one thing that fishermen tell us is that they would love to see what's going on down below inside their rig in terms of a video. And while there's some great solutions on the market in terms of net monitoring and acoustics, they provide snippets of information, but you need a myriad of sensors to give you that information. And still, it's not quite the same as seeing. So we now have a great solution in the captain's eye, in the ability to mount these cameras down in a particular area we want to monitor, whether we're monitoring catch, bycatch, whether we're just trying to see how a particular piece of gear is working. A typical solution consists of at least two canisters. One would be a light canister and the other would be a camera canister. Okay, take a look at the canisters themselves now. So this is the camera canister. You could see that it's shorter than its counterpart, the torch or flashlight canister. We simply use an ion, a standard run-of-the-mill ion camera like you'd expect to see in adventure sports for biking, mountain biking, that sort of thing. There's the camera lens, and you'll see the screw caps on either end. The sticker can be removed, so if you ever did scratch the front face of the camera, you can turn the camera around and go the other way. Inside of the camera itself, we'll just open that up. There you go, and we'll just pop that camera out. So you can see there's a spacer that just holds the camera at play. So the camera itself, that's removed after every tow. Lasts for a couple of hours. You can extend it by getting a custom housing if you prefer, and having a battery pack in with it. So that records a nice full HD video quality feed. You basically unscrew the back of the camera, and this is where you connect to remove your video content and save it onto your computer. You can set it to full HD or HD video feed. And this is where you charge it. So after each tow, you remove the camera from the housing, take it to the wheelhouse, and download your information and charge it. So that's the camera, and the camera pops back like that, nice and easy into the housing. And you simply do up the canister. Now, if you do have problems with a bit of pressure on there, they are rated for very deep water use. You can use a tool to remove it. Take a look at the flashlight now. I should point out both of them have a lanyard on. I'll show you what that's for in a second. That basically retains it. You don't want to lose that. So that just keeps it at the rig. Righto. So the flashlight. So you can pretty much use any flashlight you want. This is a flashlight we ran with because it was recommended by Effective Fishing Solutions. So pretty cool. It's a Duracell torch. It's just a stock standard torch. It's got a metal body, so it's rugged. And what we like about the torch is that we can adjust the focus of the beam, and you can make it have a nice even lume to suit. You don't want to have a very bright spot, so you set that for a nice even lume. It gives you a nice camera image on your camera. Okay, so that's your torch. That torch does run on C alkaline batteries, C size. Now, in terms of mounting these housings, you'll see they've got rubber O-rings on the outside. You can have custom sleeves made to mount these into pods, so if you're fixing them on doors or grids. A lot of our customers, though, are interested in being able to move them around the rig. So that's where this product comes in, which is a pretty cool product called the eyeball. So the cool thing about the eyeball, it's got these grub screws all the way around the outside, and just like a human eyeball, it can be swiveled to rotate by loosening off those grub screws. So the idea is that we can put it into a panel on any angle, it doesn't matter, and then we reorientate the eyeball where we want to point. So Fishermen do find, they think they know where the camera should be pointing to, and after a tow they realise, hey, it's 30 degrees off. They can simply come here, reset the eyeball, which is pretty cool. So the eyeballs themselves, the cameras slide into the eyeball. I've got one already set up over here, so I'll pull that into view. There it is. So that's what a camera looks like when it's mounted into the eyeball. So you can see it through both sides. And you can now see the point of the lanyard, so it is tethered on. So heaven forbid, if one of the O-rings did fail, it's unlikely, the camera would be retained within the eyeball. So you can see we can leave the camera in the eyeball, same for the torch. The torch will obviously stick out a bit further. You can leave them in, and you just simply unscrew one of the ends, probably this end in this case, from the torch side. Leave the rest of the assembly on the gear. A lot of fishermen will actually leave even the housings. They'll just unscrew this and pull the camera. If it's good weather, they'll pull the camera out, leave the housing and the eyeball and everything on the rig. So the canisters that house the cameras or the lights can be mounted pretty much anywhere on the rig. Experience tells us that the best location for mounting the canisters are in the top of the net, in the intermediate section ahead of the cod end. The great thing about having an underwater camera system is that it can help with bycatch reduction, allowing fishermen to optimize their trawl in terms of their the door spread, their headline height, their openings, whether they've got any sorting grids, that sort of thing. So rather than guessing or relying purely on acoustic underwater positioning and monitoring systems, they can actually get a camera video feed showing them exactly what is going on under the water. And we find that fishermen can continue to use the camera systems to gradually optimize their rig. The feedback from captains that have used the EFS Captain's Eye and the eyeball mounting solution is that it significantly speeds up their understanding of how their rig is behaving, and in the long term that leads to increased profit and in terms of optimized towing, you know, in terms of fuel savings, in terms of increasing catch. So it's having those eyes under the water. It's not real time, there's no feedback to the vessel live, but it's the next best thing, the ability to see what's really going on down there. And captains are always amazed. They've got a fairly good idea of what's going on, but never the full picture. And these canisters and cameras and torches, they give captains that ability to see what really is going on down below. Something that we've found in recent years, skippers are far more familiar now, even when they've got headline sensors, net sounders, looking up and down from the headline, and they see a lot of activity, acoustic activity on their net monitor on the bridge. They now accept that that doesn't necessarily mean that you're catching those species. Certain species are more robust and lively than others, and we now know that fish will congregate in the opening of the trawl when the vessel goes to haul that net. Quite often a large proportion of those fish will escape. I guess the idea with Captain's Eye is that you can mount a camera system within the opening and see what's really going on, and if you know that those fish are escaping, then you can put in plan strategies to try and overcome that and ensure that you catch those fish, whether that be towing faster or making tweaks, changes to your rig, your opening headline, those sort of things. But there's nothing like knowing that you have a problem, and then you can put in place those strategies to mitigate that. We found that in recent years, with trialling out bottom contact sensors, acoustic sensors, that maybe fishing gear doesn't spend as much time on the bottom as one would think. Perhaps it's making contact with the seabed far later than the skipper realises. maybe it's jumping up and down off the bottom. So once again, the captain's eye gives the skipper the ability to monitor that. He can monitor his ground rope, and if he does find that the gear in particular depths or with particular rigs, nets, is behaving differently, then of course they can make adjustments to counter that and make sure that that gear is fishing as optimally as it should. Hey, we just want to thank you for watching our video today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, feel free to email us here. If you enjoyed this video and you want to check out some more videos, check out our YouTube feed here. And yeah, if you want to learn more about Marintec, what we do, our solutions, you can see it here. Thanks very much.